Hello students, and welcome to this brief video tour of the Vista's Higher Learning Gradebook. Now the first thing you may be thinking is, hey, this is not the textbook I use. That's okay. All the Vista's Higher Learning textbooks use the same gradebook features, so don't worry about that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this tab called Grades. And when I click on that, it will give me various options. First I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Summary. Now when I click on Summary, you're going to see that that's going to give me a summary of my grade. So I can see a cumulative score here, and that will be how I'm doing in the course right up until this moment in time. Now you're also going to see that there are various categories set up. Now each instructor gets to set up their own categories, so these may be different in your particular class. Now, let's click on Scores here. Scores is actually going to be the same option as Details in this menu over here. So you can click on Scores or Details, and you're going to go ahead and get a nice detailed view of your grade. Now, as you can see here, we are viewing the scores by lesson at this point. You're going to have different options, so I just want to show you these options. We're going to be looking at it at lesson, and we can see that this is lesson 1. We're looking at all activities in lesson 1, and we're looking at all categories in lesson 1. So we're getting a really nice bird's eye view of how we've done in lesson 1. Now, you can see across the top over here, we've got various columns with various bits of information. I'd like to bring your attention to the status here, and you can tell with status of if you've turned something in late, if you've turned it in on time, or if it has not yet been submitted. Now for any of these things, you can see here the date you submitted it, and then the actual due date if it was turned in late. You can also see how much time you've spent on activities, as well as the number of attempts you've taken on that particular activity. Now, some instructors only allow students to take one attempt on an activity, and some allow multiple attempts. Let's go ahead and take a peek down at the scores and some of the different options with scores. You can see here we're looking at things in a percentage view as well as points earned. Now, what if you come across a little check mark like this? A check mark is going to be usually for things that are credit, no credit, maybe a video or something to that effect. And you can see that you do receive a point for watching that video. And if you just click on that video and don't actually watch it, both you and your instructor are going to be able to tell that, because we can see how long you have spent on that particular activity. So just some things to keep in mind. Now let's go ahead and look at a score that's called pending, for example. If something is pending, that means it is pending your instructor's corrections. So if I click on that, I can see here it's going to give me a notification that my instructor has not yet graded this activity. Nice thing is I'm able to see my answer, and then in some cases I'm even able to see a sample answer. So that's nice. All right, let's come back to the gradebook here. Now you're going to notice that a lot of these activities are clickable. So if you're not sure what the activity is, you can click right on it and it will take you to the actual activity and show you what it is. Coming back to the gradebook, let's take a look at it in a different view. So in the beginning here, I told you that we were looking at it by lesson. What if we want to look at it by date instead? You wanted to zoom in on a date. So for example, if I click date, then I can come on over here to all my weeks in my course and maybe click on a week here, and you can see what was assigned during that particular week. Again, you can click on it if you want to look at the assignment. Let's say I'm going to go ahead and put this back into lesson view, and let's say I wanted to come and see how I was doing on my exams in the course. Right now I'm looking at all categories, so if I want to drill into the exam, or tests in this case, category, I can click on that and I can see all the tests. Now again, notice that I'm looking at it in just lesson 1, okay? And so I can see my scores on exams and so forth. Now let's say I want to go ahead and click on the exam. Sometimes the instructor does not allow you to look at specific exams right away for various reasons. And you'll see here that it tells you your instructor has not released the exams yet. All right, so coming back into the exams here, you can see that you've got an overview of the exams as well as all of the different options here. So now I'm going to come back to the overview, and again I've got my bird's eye view of how I'm doing in the class. So you can look at scores in an overview or a detailed view. I hope that this has been helpful in determining your grade in the class. Thank you.